Welcome back to the Apatros review. In this episode, we look at the film Feast, directed by John Gallagher in the year 2005. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros review. I'm your host, Mila Sipka, and in this series, I take you through some of the many science fiction, action, and horror films that are in my collection. In this episode, we look at the film Feast, which is the third film that came out of the Project Greenlight series, which was a reality TV show that had Matt Damon and Ben Affleck teaming up first-time filmmakers to make their own feature film in order to break into the market. Now, this film was released in the US by Genius Products and also released in Australia by Real DVD. I'll talk about the DVD at the end of this review. Now, for the story, after a bloody stranger staggers into their midst, the staff and patrons of a remote desert bar find themselves thrust into a to-the-death battle against a mysterious family of hideous monsters that are keen on tearing them into pieces. Like I said, this was the third film made by the filmmaking reality television show Project Greenlight, where Ben Affleck and Matt Damon would pick a first-time filmmaker and writer and pair them together to make their first film and market it into a theatrical release. In this case, they picked John Gallagher, who is the son of 1980s horror legend Clu Gallagher, who also makes an acting appearance in the film as a bartender, and the first-time scripters Patrick Milton and Marcus Dunson, who would later go on to write the majority of the Saw sequels, the two sequels of The Feast, and their own franchise of The Collector sequel. Now, while the vast majority of the films produced by Project Greenlight are nothing more than futile exercises in filmmaking masturbation, made by people who clearly were the pretentious type, one of these, the leisure class, ended up being a truly qualified stinker of a film. Now, Feast was the sole exception, a ferociously funny and gory throwback to the 1980s horror film genre, and also featuring an actor in Clu Gallagher, who starred in some of those ones as well, with his one eye bent on keeping within the rules of the 1980s horror genre, and the other eye on bending some of those rules. It also has a fast pace that doesn't allow for an instant, and practically no CGI whatsoever. Not to mention some good acting by a cast who clearly know they're in the B-movie and played up to the audience with reckless abandon, and some decent plot twists that don't sound too far-fetched. John Gallagher handles the gory action with an expert eye. Of course, this film it's got a tight premise, a bunch of people being attacked by monsters that are never explained what they are, and many of the characters, some of them are pretty stereotypes that were written. Now, Gallagher has the potential to become a good director if he were to be noticed, although the quality of the subsequent works he's made is shockingly poor, but that's primarily due to the atrocious scripts that sent his way. And the humor is of the we know we're in horror B film but we don't care. He lets us have some fun or add sort of variety that never treats the audience with contempt. There are oodles of gore and some disturbingly funny moments, like one guy who gets constantly shouted corrosive monster vomit, and the creatures seem to have the ability to reproduce that kind almost instantly, and the action only lets up just to have the audience catch their breath. It's a fun B movie. Now, as for violence and gore, there's plenty of full-on gore effects on display here. From acid monster puke to pulled out eyeballs to even a monster's penis going the door and castrated by machete. Ouch. The 1980s have practically returned. As for sexuality and nudity, there's mostly implied instances of both human and monster intercourse throughout the film, only monster nudity scene. Now, the DVD itself was released in Australia by Real DVD, although the cover looks like they copied much of the cover of the American release. I mean, on the cover of the Real DVD Aussie disc, it says it's got English and Spanish subtitles, but it's only got English subtitles on the disc. The quality of the disc is really good. I mean, it's 235 to 1 aspect ratio. It's very clear. You know, for the color palette, it's a bit subdued because they're designed like a brownish and reddish tones for the color palette. The soundtrack is in 5:1, and there's also a series of audio commentary with the filmmakers, a bunch of featurettes, and deleted scenes. I suggest you actually watch all of these when you watch the film. It's actually really good. Now, there are subtitles in English for the hearing impaired, and that's about it for the disc. It's pretty hot. It's came out in the mid to late 2000s on Real DVD, and like I said, this is almost identical to the American one. Now, if you want Spanish subtitles, then I suggest you get the American disc, but the Aussie one is the best in terms of balance. Now, there are sequels to this film, two of them, and I'll review them in the coming episodes. In fact, the next episode I'll do these two, and they're truly atrocious. But this original is by far the best, and it's a decent monster film. Anyway, that's it for this review.